Once upon a time, there was a small town nestled in the heart of the forest. It was a peaceful place, where the inhabitants went about their daily lives without a care in the world. But one day, strange things began to happen. People started disappearing without a trace. At first, it was just a few individuals who went missing, but soon, the entire town was in a state of panic. Nobody knew what was happening or who was responsible. One night, a group of hunters decided to venture into the forest to investigate. Armed with their guns and flashlights, they trudged through the underbrush, hoping to find some clues. As they were searching, they heard a strange noise coming from the ground beneath their feet. It sounded like digging, but it was too deep and too consistent to be any kind of animal. The hunters grew increasingly uneasy, and their flashlights began to flicker. Suddenly, the ground beneath them caved in, and they fell into a dark hole. As they scrambled to their feet, they realized they were in some sort of underground chamber. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and strange symbols were etched into the walls. But the most terrifying thing was the creature that stood before them. It was humanoid in shape, but its skin was as black as coal and its eyes glowed red in the darkness. It had long, spindly fingers with razor-sharp claws, and it was covered in dirt and grime. The hunters could see that it had been the one digging the tunnels beneath the town, and that it was responsible for the disappearances. The creature let out a bone-chilling screech, and the hunters knew they had to act fast. They raised their guns and fired, but the bullets seemed to have no effect. The creature lunged forward and began to attack, and the hunters fought for their lives. In the end, only one of the hunters made it out alive. He stumbled back into town, covered in dirt and blood, and told the others what had happened. But nobody believed him. They thought he had gone mad, and the town continued to live in fear of the creature that lurked beneath the ground. Months passed and the town had almost forgotten about the creature that had been terrorizing them until strange reports began to emerge from the nearby city. People had been disappearing again, and rumors were spreading that the same creature from the forest had moved to the city. The authorities were baffled, and they had no idea how to deal with this creature. The police had increased patrols, but it seemed like the creature could move through the underground tunnels with ease, evading capture. Meanwhile, the people of the city lived in constant fear, never knowing when or where the creature would strike next. It would only come out at night, snatching people from the streets and dragging them underground. Many who had seen it described it as a horrifying humanoid creature covered in dirt and grime with long rib bones sticking out of its flesh. As the attacks continued, people started to become desperate. They started forming groups to search for the creature and put an end to its reign of terror once and for all. But each time they went into the underground tunnels, they were met with eerie silence, and no sign of the creature. One day, a group of scientists who had been studying the creature for months finally made a breakthrough. They had discovered that the creature was able to sense the vibrations of footsteps and movement on the ground, which is how it knew where to strike. Armed with this information, they developed a plan to lure the creature out of hiding. They created a device that could emit powerful vibrations, and they set it up in the center of the city. The creature was drawn to the sound, and soon it emerged from the underground tunnels, ready to attack. But this time, the people were ready. They had set up traps and weapons, and they were able to subdue the creature. The scientists studied it and discovered that it was a previously undiscovered species, an ancient humanoid creature that had lived underground for centuries. After the creature was captured, the people of the city were able to breathe a sigh of relief, but they knew that they could never let their guard down again. They had learned the hard way that sometimes the things that lurk in the darkness are the things that we fear the most.